Bruno Fernandes with a stunner to win the game at the death. Man United deserved it. We got through a nervy moment. The Europa League dream is still alive this campaign. All that and much, much more on the Full Fan Highlight Show. Hit the like button. Make sure you are subscribing. Let's go! Oh, I'm buzzing with that one. Absolutely buzzing with that one. Bruno Fernandes at the death with a captain's goal. Put some goddamn respect on his name. He doesn't get the I don't think he gets enough respect for the quality that he is. The finish was amazing. The ball was brilliant. But I feel it was deserved. And I'm going to explain why. Don't run off anywhere. I know some of you are going to cry in the comment section, but don't. Lucky is what's being said here. There is an element of luck to tonight, and I would absolutely admit that. Having to score in the last couple of minutes is an element of luck, but it was the performance that I'm going to review more so than the result. The result was very, very important indeed to Manchester United. We had to win. We had to come out on top, and we got that done. It was an exceedingly important thing for Man United this evening to get the 3 points. It means we don't have to win away against Bucharest in the final game. We don't want to lose, but a draw should be enough to get us through to the knockout stages. No extra games. It means we can have a little bit of a break in those midweek periods. It does. And then I'm speaking the truth. Of course I'm speaking the truth on this. I love this, copying Arsenal's corners. By all accounts, Arsenal copy Liverpool. I'm only going by what I'm being told. I don't care. I thought our set pieces tonight were amazing. Still can't believe our first goal was disallowed. If that's a foul now in football, the game's dead. The game's finished. It's over. It may never recover. We may never see football recover if that truly is going to now be considered a... If that's now going to be considered a foul, we may never get football back. But our set pieces were great tonight. Now, that's luck right there. This is where it's different, Clinton. And I know that you didn't like me calling Spurs lucky earlier. This is the difference. We didn't spend 45 minutes of the game being peppered and with Rangers missing great chances. I'll be very honest. The opening part of the game, we looked nervous. And two unforced errors, really, from Man United led to two good chances for Rangers. From that point until their goal, they offered very little. There was a chance a few moments earlier, but it was offside. They offered very little when we settled and we dominated. We should have gone 1-0 up, but we had a goal disallowed. Ahmad should have scored. Garnacho had a great shot in the first half blocked. He couldn't do much more about it. The second half begins. We nearly scored direct from a corner. We then score the Butler-known goal. He'll be having nightmares about that. A little fortuitous. But that's what happens when you cross the ball well. And Man United haven't been good at corners. And I'm not going to get carried away. Let's see what we can do in the coming games. We haven't been good or dangerous from corners and set pieces for such a long time. And I just kind of loved how good we were tonight at that and the sort of pressure that we put upon Rangers. Then after that point, Garnacho should be scoring. I don't know why he went for the right-hand side instead of the left. Should have buried it. Maguire should have scored from point-blank range. Ugarte should have scored from point-blank range. There was 2 or 3 then good saves. I really felt at that point we could have been 3 or 4-0 up in the football match. And then the worry kicks in. Maguire makes a bad mistake. Maguire, for me, bullied off the ball. Maguire didn't take good enough care. I thought he was weak. I also thought he was naive because he got a little push in the back. He should have just dived like the Rangers player did. VAR would have overturned the goal. He would have, because it was about the same level of push, right? It would have got, and that's where I'm not an advocate of diving in any capacity. I don't want anyone in any team to dive, but you've got to learn to play the game. But it was really poor from Maguire. He switched off. He makes a mistake. Rangers are going to nick a point from nowhere. And this would have been a very different match reaction. And it would have been a really bitter and angry match reaction because I felt United's performance was very good. Not perfect, not the greatest team in the world. My feet are still very firmly planted on planet Earth. But I liked how we played for large parts of the game. The finishing was going to be my only real critique. And then we get the ball down the other end. And it's a wonderful ball from Lisandro Martinez, a wonderful ball. The strike from Bruno Fernandes was amazing. A captain's goal keeps Man United alive with our Europa League dream. It gives us a very important victory. We have to build from this point. But that's why we needed the win, because I felt the performance was something we could grow from. The victory is great for the context of the competition. The performance is more what I care about. But it would have been soured with that late equalizer for Rangers. Overall tonight, I was impressed. I was impressed with Bruno Fernandes for the majority of the day deep. I love the fact that we, for the first time since he's been at the club, we played Bruno deep and Eriksen in an attacking role, and he grew into the game. I thought Ahmad was good. Final ball or final decision-making tonight wasn't at the level that I would expect from him, but overall good. I thought Garnacho was dangerous, barring his shooting. He just couldn't score a goal today, but I liked he made the right decisions. He cut the ball back correctly. Xerxes grew into the game, and as soon as we started feeding that ball into his feet early in that second half, him dropping deep, we looked a very, very, very good team when we did that. Toby Collier made a mistake three or 4 minutes in. Outside of that, the last time I checked, he had like a 96 pass completion rate. He did very, very well in his debut in European football. Lisandro Martinez had a fantastic night. I felt that Malacia came on and played well. I was really impressed with Lenny Euro tonight. Still a long way for that young man to go in his career, but by far his best performance in a Manchester United shirt. And I was just sitting here quite content, quite relaxed at 1-0, thinking, I'm happy with that. I'm not going to go overboard, and I'm not going to sit here and say we're the best team in Europe. I don't even think we're in the top 3, top 4, maybe even top 5 favorites to win this competition. I don't. And I stand by that. However, what I will say is that I was impressed with the performance. It was something that I felt gives us a foundation. And I'm sure that I don't know what Amarim's going to say, but I'm going to guess. He might pull out a few things we're disappointed with, but I think overall Amarim will be happy with large parts of tonight's game. And if we can perform like that more regularly and build some confidence, we can become a better team this season. There's no doubt in my mind. I want to get your thoughts. I want to get your opinions. Obviously, as soon as that second goal went in, all of the rivals disappeared. It's always a shame because you never see the rivals when Man United win. Literally, they disappear like crazy. They're never, ever around. Benny says, lend me a euro. The thing is with that joke, it is new and it's fresh. So I'll give you that. It's quite a fresh joke and it's funny for a man like Mons. The problem is you can't use it when he has a good game. That's where uniques have got to learn how to do jokes, is that it works when he's had a stinker. It doesn't work when he's played very well. It's come on, do better. Do better there, my friend. You must do much, much better than that. Let's be honest, Rangers were crap. Well, this is the thing. You're a Spurs fan. You came on earlier and bigged up Spurs. This is the same team that played you off the park. And Man United are not particularly good. You've beaten us twice. They're a decent side in the Europa League. You're decent. I'm not saying amazing. I'm not saying world class. That's why I was happy with that overarching performance. I really, really was. United, Celtic, and Rangers, top teams in Scotland. Do you want to know something about Battle of the Britain Games? And this is something that shouldn't be ignored. This was the 19th in history of European football. It's the 19th time a Premier League or top division team in England has played a top one of the top sides in a European competition from Scotland. Up until tonight, there was 5 wins for Scotland, just 4 wins. Just 4 wins for English teams in that time. And then I believe it was, I think they said there was 18 games. So that was 4, that's 9. And then 9 draws. So if you go through the course of time, only 4 times in 18 matches of the English side come out on top in a Battle of the Britain game. If you throw that statistic in and look at the context of how bad Man United are, I'm very, very happy to pick up that victory. So you can joke about it all you want, but think in the history of this fixture, English teams versus Scottish teams in Europe, It's only the 5th time an English team has won in 19 attempts. If the game ended a draw, I would have been mad. It takes a perfect ball for us to score. And honestly, all 3 goals, the keeper should have done better, but need a left foot on that left wing back. Yeah, I actually felt Garnacho in the left wing looked better when Malacia came on. I thought the team didn't look as good when Eriksen came off the pitch. I really liked Eriksen in that 10 role tonight. And I felt that when we made the change, I thought ironically, Bruno might not have scored the goal if he'd have stayed deep. But I felt if Mainu went into the 10 and Bruno stayed deep, I felt it may have been a little different. That would be my only real critique of Amorim tonight. I think he changed too many people late on when we were in a really comfortable position. Because they weren't doing anything. Finch says, Terry, the oracle on jokes now. But this is where you miss it, Finch. This is where uniques don't understand. He made a joke. I'm making a joke back. It's not me saying you can't make jokes. And this is how I know some of uniques don't have girlfriends or boyfriends. You've got to go out more because you can't even understand that I'm making a joke back. Your brain hasn't developed enough yet because you don't do enough social activities to understand that mine's also a joke. It's just deadpan and dry. Come on, my friend, please. I love that you're watching my show, but stop. Ring up a friend, go around the house and chill, play some FIFA, go talk to some girls, do something different. Come on, my friend. You have to. Terry has chess beating Rangers. Yeah, my team's 13th in the league. My team's been awful. I got called out during the game for saying my standards are too low. They're not too low. I know where we are right now. The only way the standards are going to become higher is by more performances like tonight and then more clinical edge within those games and less mistakes. But you're not going to get more clinical edge or less mistakes unless the performances become more consistent. And this is the thing, John Jones, I understand this. It's not my fault that my ball knowledge is better than standard FC. Now, again, that wink implies a bit of a joke. If anybody's triggered by it, again, go out on a date, go make some friends, do something different. Terry, I've been saying that Amorim should play Eriksen in the 10. I don't even put that down to... Listen, I've been saying since he's been at the club, I want to see Eriksen in the 10. The amount of times Bruno was tired or overused, and I'm sitting there talking to Ten Hag and listen, give Eriksen a game in the 10. It's literally his position. He's never been a central midfielder in the Prem. Not in my eyes. So, yeah, he did great tonight. Is it me or did the game feel like a derby? It's England versus Scotland, brother. Now, I'm going by where you have super chatted from. I'm assuming it's America. That's a massive rivalry. In the history of English clubs versus Scottish clubs in Europe, up until tonight, Scotland were winning 5-4 against English sides. This has always been a derby game. And I'll be honest with you, if you're not English or Scottish, you won't get it. But it's like America versus Canada, as an example. Ghana versus Nigeria. Australia versus New Zealand. You know what I'm saying? It's a Turkey versus Cyprus. That's a mad one. Or Greece, probably more so. Mad ones. Legit. Big. Red fan here. United deserve this win. Huge 3 points. Thank you. We did deserve this win. I'll stand on that. Man United deserved to win tonight. I'm glad we got it. We absolutely deserved the win tonight. That's why I'm very, 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 very happy we got it in the end. Gutted, but the kids gave it a go. Good game, United. Yeah, listen, your young players did give it a go. And look, there were some good saves from Butland. There were some great blocks in the match. There were some great clearances off the line where we nearly scored direct from a corner. And that's why, listen, I'll critique our end product, but I'll also praise Rangers for it. But I've been talking about it for months, and I'm not going to yield from that. And my detractors will try and twist it, but I'm focusing on performances above and beyond everything else when it comes to my mood. The result, great. Performance, very, very happy with it. Very, very happy indeed. Steve Vaxay says more like America versus Mexico. I was thinking more like if they played each other at hockey or something. But yeah. Football, yeah, definitely Mexico. I understand that. I understand that indeed. Let's have a look at a few more of your comments here. To be honest, Terry, your banter winds me up. But you definitely the best football fan show host on YouTube. Big up yourself. Appreciate that. Listen, I don't really, I mean, banter is what it is, but I appreciate you saying that. I say that to all my people giving me stick. You're here for a reason, because I always view it this way. You wouldn't actually tune in. I think you've got to be really unwell or down in the dumps to watch somebody consistently that you don't really like. I feel for people like that, and I think they need big hugs. I really, really do. Big hugs. Big hugs. Sam here says, honestly, I'm sick of listening to biased pundits. I swear United are the only club who doesn't have an obvious biased pundit. McCoist was so hard to listen to. Like, I like Ali McCoist. I do. But there was a few moments tonight. Look, Rio, by the way, celebrated live on the air when we scored. So we can't pretend there was no bias there. But there was a tackle by Malacia, maybe 80 minutes on the clock. It was a beautiful tackle. It wasn't Ali McCoist. Ali McCoist and Rio were set up tonight to both back their clubs. It was, I don't know, it was Chapman. I think it might have been the actual commentator. It was weird things like it was the way he was sort of encouraging Rangers to do something as an example. That bothers me. And I see that in a lot of games. But yeah, Ali McCoist tonight, no issues. United fans watch Liverpool games. Terry, so not really. People watch what they don't like in real life. That's not true. People like football. People watch rivals to understand what they're doing, and people enjoy football. When it comes to televised games, since television has been a predominant force in football from the early 90s, football fans have watched rivals play. There's a difference between watching Premier League or Champions League football matches and then tuning in, week out to watch a YouTuber you don't fucking like, you idiot. That's why I call you Maradona the moron. Legitimately. Anybody that doesn't like a political commentator, a football pundit, who doesn't, you don't need to tune into this. If you want to watch football, you have to tune in and watch it, right? And it's a really bad example. That's why we call you Maradona the moron, because you do chat some absolute breeze, bruv. But I know that you love it. That's why we do it. Right, time to bring the panel out tonight. We've got Strasbourg Steve, we've got KJ, we've got Skye, aka Sunshine FC, coming on the show tonight. KJ's here, Skye's here, Steve is here as well. KJ, we got the win. We got the win, but you look depressed, bruv. You okay?
All I want them to do is to win normally. Why is everything got to be drama, Terry? Everything just got to be drama. Last minute winners, flipping comebacks from whatever nil down, mistakes galore, but then followed by beautiful pieces of play and individual brilliance. I'm just tired, man. I'm tired. I am tired. Flipping now. We need to make sure we win this comp, because I ain't going through all this crap just for us to flop in like the round of 16 against flipping, I don't know, Victoria Pleasant or something like that. You know, we need to get better. We need to get better, because I'm not gonna lie to you, Terry. I know you're happy with the W, and for most of the game, we were good. Most of the game we were good. We controlled. We created some really good opportunities. But two things I want to highlight is, one, the finishing. That finishing is the reason why I was stressed. We should have won that game like 5-1, you know, because I'm not going to take away from that beautiful finish from Dessers. That was top class, top quality. We need to be clear of these men. We should have been clear of these men. And time again, easy chances. Garnacho missing them, Ahmad missing them. It's kind of like, against bigger teams in this competition, we are screwed, bruv. Like we are finished. And the little things these are the little things that matter. We can't be hitting the post like Garnacho did from 5 yards out. When you have 1v1s with the keeper, you can't be hitting them in the chest. We've got to find the corners. So the finishing put us in this precarious position. What followed after that is what just topped you. It's the sloppy passing. After 60, what was it? 70, when you get to 70 minutes after the ball and all their kids who got more energy, it's kind of like these players decided, yeah, we got this now. We got nothing to worry about. And they was just so sloppy on the ball, giving it away. And from 70 minutes onwards, up until Rangers scored, they deserved that goal because they were picking up all our loose balls. They was fighting for everything in the middle of the park. and we just allow them to get back into the game. Again, I want to win this competition, Terry. I said from day one, I don't care about the league because I don't think we do anything. We've won the Carabao Cup in the last 2 years. We've won the FA Cup last season. I'm cool with those as well. But we need to win this Europa League. And we can't win it playing like this with these kind of performances. I know you're happy with the control, but I'm going to be honest, man. It's Rangers with kids on the bench. If that is Lazio, who are the top team in the Europa League right now, you know, if that's Frankfurt. Even if that's Spurs. Actually, I don't know about that. That might be different. But you know what I'm saying?
Spurs sure went Rangers.
We will get punished, bro.
That's why I said I look. I think me and you agree on more than what you actually think tonight, because I've said I wouldn't even put us in the top 5 to be favourites, and I said before I went live that the biggest thing I was going to call out was the finishing, because we should have been 3-4, 5-0 up, or at least 3-0 up before they got their goal. There's no doubt about it. So that needs to be called out. What I will say is this, that the overarching performance, though, is still my focus. Because unless we start getting those like that and then more consistent, we're never going to become a consistent team that can win. So I think that it's, for me, I think you can compartmentalize these things, but I do get your criticisms and I understand them. And as the euphoria of Bruno's winner wears away, you will look at them. And I'm sure that Amorim is going to call out some of those elements as well tonight, because he always does in that regard. And I wanted to ask you specifically about some of that, because for me, I felt Bruno and Collier in the middle worked well. And for the first time probably in his Man United career, starting a game in the number 10, you saw the very best of Eriksen. And I felt like when we moved it round and put Manu in the middle and put Bruno up there, I felt we lost a little bit of control.
And I think that's where the downfall started. And Amorim, he kind of unconsciously undid what we built upon that game. Let's talk about the positives of that game. Eriksen has finally played in a position where he's born to play, and we look so much better creatively. You know, he and credit to him, he was actually pressing. I saw man got pressed by Eriksen, old man Eriksen with Iron Man heart. That was crazy. So big up to Eriksen, because he brings a different kind of quality. Like Bruno, he's the guy that will just keep going, spam. With his eye of the needle balls, his creativity is high. We know that, but he's a high volume passer when it comes to creating chances. Whereas Eriksen, what I like about him, he's got a little bit of touch of class. You know, he may not do it all the time, but when he does do it, he's making sure it's getting to where it's going to. And I appreciate his performance today. It was very good. And I was hoping when he came off that we would have saw Manu in that position, so that we could actually get to see him in that role. Because I personally think if you're going to pick the 8 in Amorim's system or the 10 in Amorim's system, I think Manu would probably perform better in that position. But I think Amorim stumbled upon something that may work in the short term, which is, I know we love Bruno close to the goal. Hey, look what happens when he's close to the goal. He makes that run, excellent ball from Martinez, and he scores the goal. But in terms of deep-lying creation, it is a lot better with Bruno in there next to a Collier, next to Ugarte, than he would be Kobe, because he's not that kind of footballer. He's not that kind of deep-lying player to spray balls, to see balls over the top, to make those passes. So if we can maybe test that out a little bit more, that'd be great. Also, Collier, my boy, you do what I need you to do. Sorry. I don't need you to be Kobe. I don't need you to be dribbling around, man, and then playing 1-2s and looking silky. I don't need you to do that. I don't need you to be spraying the long balls like Bruno. I need you to do what you did today. Win that ball back, have energy, and play it simple.
Do you know what you saw, though? Do you know what you saw in that middle as well? And this, for me, was important. And it was, look, he made and I'm so glad that the Rangers, as much as people say, well, that they should have scored, there's a difference when Garnacho has a shot that's going in and the defender makes a great block. Is an element of, it's a really good block. I don't want to take nothing away from Bayendere, but that save when Collier loses the ball in the middle and then they go through one-on-one, that was a stumble from the Rangers player why they didn't score. So they're to blame for not. People go, they should have scored. Yeah, but their player fell over. Like, I'm not gonna praise them for tripping up as an example, right? He made a mistake, but from that moment until he came off, Collier was amazing. But what we get with Bruno and Collier in the middle, and I don't even think there are better players out there that can do this. We had more power and more pace. Now, I'm not saying they're electric with their speed and super strong, but much more than you get with if we'd have played Mainu and Eriksson in the midfield tonight. There was just more running. There was more legs. Then we were able to dominate the ball more because we were winning it back, which meant you still saw Bruno at the edge of the box on more occasions than not. So you still got the best out of him in that regard. And look, Ahmad, I love him and I praise him. I still think he should have done a lot better tonight with his final ball or his shooting. I thought he made quite a few mistakes tonight. But I love the fact he perseveres and he keeps going and he keeps going. Before I go, I was going to go to Sunshine. I'm not sure where she's gone. I wanted to ask you though, about another player that might go unnoticed tonight, but Lenny Yoro. He's had a lot of criticism, KJ. He's been ripped into for his performances. But what did you make of him tonight when he was on the pitch?
I thought he was very solid. Today. And while what I saw from him today, which was different that we haven't really seen from him, was him driving forward with the ball. And there's one sequence where he's playing, I think it was with Ahmad, 1-2s around the defenders, and then going on into the final third. I think Amorim needs that more from his centre-backs because his midfielders aren't naturally maybe going to be the highly creative guys sometimes in games. We've seen it with Martinez a lot under Amorim and throughout his United career. And we need that more of that from Yoro, which is driving forward the ball and looking for those passes. And he did that well today. And I'm excited to see how I'll develop. Now, was he perfect? No. There's some shaky moments in there, like especially when he let that ball go for a corner when he clearly should have like cleared it out or took control of the situation and did something else. So he's still learning in those moments how to deal with certain things. But overall, considering the way he got cooked against Southampton, he's slowly recovering. And that's what we like to see. The mentality is there, I think, with this kid. People expecting him, like there's a video about him going around where he's squaring up to, I think, a Brighton player. I think it might have been Solly March. And people laughing at him, saying, oh, he hasn't got the dog in him, he ain't got the minerals, he's not a hard man, like what has he got? But I don't think every player needs to be like that. And I don't want him to be like that.
I watched that video clip and I didn't get what they were saying.
I think it's because he wasn't pushing and shoving.
Do you know what I saw? Do you know what I saw? When I grew up, my dad taught me when I first started going pubs and clubs. My dad said, look, son, when you're out, first of all, keep your mouth shut, right? Unless you're with all your mates and your brothers. He said, whenever you're in a sticky situation, because it will happen as young men when you're out, he says, don't be afraid of the mouthy one. Always be afraid of the quiet, timid one, because they're often the most dangerous. And that's why when I see someone like Yoro, where he doesn't look scared, but he ain't giving it the big one, that's when I look at him and think, I don't think he is some sort of pussy. But just an update on both him and De Ligt. They both told the bench they felt something in their leg. So they took them off to not risk them. So fingers crossed, nothing too major. A few people saying, Terry, you're lying. Yoro got cooked today. Well, I just went and checked. He didn't get dribbled past once. He won his duels. He won his tackles. Lenny Yoro, for an 18-year-old, making one of his first starts for the club was brilliant. I felt tonight as well. And another positive for Man United that I want to pull on tonight is that Ruben Amorim becomes only the third manager in Man United history to win his first 3 games in Europe at the club. And I think, no one has done it since Sir Alex. So again, there's so much negativity around our club. There's every bad stat. There's every bad record. And you'll get all the Man United fans that want him to fail. You'll get all the Man United fans who like to side with rivals and side with the media that slag us off every day. And you get a Man United fans that do that as well, pulling on all the bad things that have happened. You'll barely see any of them mention first Man United manager since Sir Alex. The prior one to him was, of course, Sir Matt Busby to win his first 3 European games. So congratulations to him. Skye, great to have you back on the terrace. Long time no see. Is that your dog on the bed? I can see as well, by the way.
Yeah. It's nice.
Nice. What did you make of United today? Because we haven't spoken a while, but what did you make of Man United and our performance tonight?
Yeah, I happen to agree a lot with KJ. I feel like obviously it's very nice to get the win, and I definitely wanted to win considering what was at stake for the Europa League. And it was nice to see some good things, especially with Eriksen in that 10 position, and seeing the chemistry between him, Ahmad, and Bruno was really nice. So there were definitely some positives. But like KJ said, I think for me, and it's been multiple games this season, it's the finishing, right? It's the quality of being able to get the ball in the back of the net, because that's how you win the games. And for me, I think that's the biggest thing that we're going to have to work on if we want to improve this season, I think. And this season is unique because we have players in roles they're not used to. It's difficult to really critique sometimes at players right now because they're not in positions they typically play. Dallo at left wing back doesn't work for me most of the time. You know, it's hard for me to watch. And so it's hard for me to really try to critique and go on these players when they're not in positions that they will thrive in, you know? And so I think it's on Amram to try to find a way to get these players to play well with who we have right now in order to get wins. And I think that's the pieces of the puzzle that he's trying to put together. Putting Eriksen in the 10, putting Bruno in that midline with Collier might be something that he found. You know, I think Bayern has been great, especially outside of matches that Onana's not playing. So I think he has been.
No, sorry, sir. I'm a Bayern hater. I'm just gonna admit it to everyone now. I don't like him.
I'm somewhere in the middle. Up until we saved that penalty against Arsenal, I said just sell him, get rid of him, because I felt every second of him in goal up until that point was nervous, indecisive, poor decision making. Since then, I've been impressed, but I don't want to praise.
Nobody's asking for a switch. I don't want him to start over Onana.
Well, no, I do. I do actually right now, but I don't want to say it. And do you know why? do you know why though? And it's a hard one, because I feel that one of Ten Hag's biggest mistakes is that he didn't punish bad performances. So you saw in the last few games, mainly we had some issues. Ugarte had some issues. Onana most certainly in the last game had issues. And tonight, a lot of them were dropped. And there's one of the notes I made, but obviously the course of the game has changed that. And I looked at Onana being dropped as really significant. And I hope, and I know he conceded tonight, very little he could do about that goal. I hope that he, Bayern there, starts again. Now, I don't think he's the answer. I don't think he is the guy to take us forward in goal. However, I do feel as though we need to start on a more regular basis at Old Trafford is promoting meritocracy. And the mistake from Onana for that third goal against Brighton, for me, that's almost something that if someone, that is the equivalent of a doctor leaving a scalpel in during surgery. It's such a bad mistake for such a simple ball. I find it unforgivable. I can't get over it. And if he just keeps playing, I think it sends a bad message to the rest of the dressing room. So even if Bayern there is not the guy we want forever, I still think there's an element there where we should say, well, do you know what? You've actually had 2 good games on the bounce now. You get to start for the foreseeable. And I think we've got to start promoting that. Eriksen, you played well in the 10. I think he should get another start there. I think he's too good. He ain't the goal threat. But again, Xerxes played well. You start again. Collier, you played well. You should get a game. I feel like we've got to start promoting. You play well, you keep starting football matches, barring rotation. I felt too much in the last 5, 6, 7 years at our club. You know who's going to start games, win, lose, or draw, and that becomes problematic for me.
No, I hear what you're saying, but I think there still needs to be a balance between being serious and being kind. You know, like I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to see Bayern in the Premier League. I don't want to see Onana in the Premier League. I'd rather see Heaton. You know, if you want to do meritocracy, my man's been here for 4 years and he's never complained. Give him a chance, you know. But now, like, we do need to get that balance, and I think Amarim, until we get players that actually suit his system, he's gonna have to keep chopping and changing until he finds something that works. Like even something like I saw today when who came off now? When Euro came off and Malacia came on, I was like, is he actually gonna do 4 at the back? Is that what's happening? And he didn't, and Delot ended up being right centre back. You know how much better he looked being away from the forward line and being able just to facilitate playing. I'm like,
that's not what his role is.
Because he's not an attacker, and I think that it's why when we see the mean, defenders are defenders, right? And it's why Luke Shaw looked okay and very good sometimes playing in centre-back roles, because we had the ball so regularly against most teams that when they're actually in game, he's in a lot of positions that the old-fashioned left-backs used to being, as an example. And you are right. You are definitely right about that. There's no doubt about it. Let's do some of these super chats here. First one says that the new TV in the dressing room don't need replacing. I hope also hope Garnacho's performance impressed Bowley. What did you make? And including Steve, if you watched the game as well, what did you make of Garnacho tonight? Do you think, I know he didn't score, he probably could have got an assist or two. Good or bad performance? What are we saying tonight from Garnacho?
Skye will get this reference, but he reminds me of Russell Westbrook. He was an NBA player, bro. Because here's the thing about Garnacho. I don't think he's super talented. I think there's something there. He is a tryhard though, and I mean that respectfully as someone who is a tryhard. When I play freaking pool downstairs with my dad, I'm a tryhard, so I understand. And that's what Garnacho is. And I feel like what I talk about with Westbrook. He's a tryhard. I don't think he's the most talented player ever, but like he is a tryhard. But yeah, I don't think he tried hard tonight, and he tried to make things happen. But quality and trying hard, two different things.
Yeah, if this world was anime, Garnacho would be the perfect protagonist. He would. The guy that has to work hard to try and get to where he is, and maybe sometimes overrates himself, but then gets humbled.
He always,
you know what I mean? Yeah. So I think all I'm saying is the performance was decent. He was running at his fullback, which was good. That I like to see. He was beating him about 60% of the time, 70% of the time. And he was putting some dangerous crosses in, made some good decisions on the ball. So overall, he was decent. Obviously, shooting and his finishing. Was it, pardon?
6 out of 10.
That's 6, 7. He was decent. Yeah. Is it enough for me to say, please, Ineos, do not sell him? We need him in this team. We need him in this squad. Nah, that's the thing.
Do you concur with that, Skye?
Absolutely. I think agree with Steve. I think he tries hard. Again, he's a workhorse. He's going to work hard. You know, he's going to work hard when he's on the pitch. But what is he going to provide quality wise? Like sometimes, you know, his crosses will link up. You know, sometimes he will score the goal. I mean, he did have that opportunity right there on the post that I think was headed out in the second half. It's just not sustainable enough, and it's not good enough for Manchester United. Let's be real. Like, if we're gonna say we're Manchester United, I don't want to see that on our team. That's just.
Do you know what's interesting tonight? Ches was in the group chat before the game, and I don't know whether it was a dig, a genuine question. It's hard to tell with Ches because he's turned into a prime troll. And I say that to his face, by the way, so he knows. He knows. All right, it's all fun and games. People say, well, if you're trying to sell Garnacho, why are you playing him? It's so obvious, isn't it? You've got the element of him putting himself in the shop window, but also we're telling Chelsea he's an important first-team player. So if you want him, £60 million, baby. What it is. If he's out the squad and we're not playing him, it's you can't sell the story in a negotiation that he's important. I just don't understand why it's so hard to follow. And I've said all along, I like Garnacho, nice lad. He scored some big goals for us. Scored an FA Cup final. That's legendary for me as a massive fan of the FA Cup
against Everton.
And also so did Lingard. Lingard scored an FA Cup final.
Exactly, and I'll always respect those goals, and they've got a great part in our history.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm only worried about Garnacho leaving if whom we replace him with isn't as good or better.
It's worse.
Worse. So if, for instance, I've said it already, if he was to leave and we took that money.
Do you actually think we would do that?
Well, not on purpose. Not on purpose. It's not on purpose. But the point is, every club, look, Man City, and I love, by the way, big up to Big Steve. This is not a dig. I remember when he was doing straight facts with us, and he would say regularly, why we're so good is we're always 2 or 3 transfer windows ahead. That's come to a halt now because their last 2 or 3 transfer windows to put bodies in place to replace older players has fallen flat. That they've recruited wrong. They didn't do it on purpose, but that just happens to every single club throughout the history of football at some point, is that you buy some players that bust. So the only time I'm going to be frustrated that we've let Garnacho go is if, say we sell him and we go, do you know what? We're not bringing in a sort of 10-stroke winger. We're going to go get Osimhen with the money. If we say we're going to go and get the lad from Leon,
Turkey.
Say we bring those players in and they're awful, then I'll sit there and say, well, it looks like a mistake that we got rid of him. If those players come in and create more, score more, are more consistent, I can tell you this now, every Man United fan online crying will stop. Like I said earlier, and people hate this. It's why I don't get opportunities on certain big platforms, but I don't care. Everyone crying about ticket prices being increased. No, let me rephrase this. 80 to 85% of people crying about ticket prices, redundancies of millionaires at the club, redundancies of Ferguson, who's worth 80-odd million pounds, redundancies of members of staff. Everyone who's like, that's wrong. I don't like this club anymore. If we start winning and become more consistent and we pick up big trophies, 80% of the people moaning will be out there celebrating and their yap will be firmly shut. And it's like with selling a player. People only care at this point. If the replacement is better, everybody shuts up, which is why I think as United fans sometimes, when it's your own club, keep your powder dry a little bit. You don't need to throw, I don't think we sometimes need to throw petrol upon the fire that rivals in the media create. Sometimes, even if you think it, what is talking about it, how does it help the club, you throwing fuel on the fire, when some of the predictions that are being made, like all of us, well, we don't know if they're going to come true or not. So sometimes I just think, keep your powder dry a little bit. Bit of clout chasing going on, definitely, though.
You know what's crazy, though? So Garnacho is a symbol for many people because he came from the academy. Granted, we bought him from Atleti for like 500k when he was 16. So we had him for 2 years before we had him in the first team. But fair enough, he's gone through our ranks. If he was performing like this still, but we bought him for 15, 20, 30 million from Atleti, if we were going to sell him, no one's saying anything.
Right.
Yes.
And this is what I'm saying. This is my point. His performances have not been the thing that everyone's upset about. I think it's the idea of where he's from the academy. We're Man United. We don't sell first team academy players. We sell the academy players are not good enough, but first team academy players we don't sell. We keep them, and we make sure they're good with us, and we win it all, right? But how long has it been since we've had that be successful? When Marcus Rashford, as much as I love him, is your most successful academy graduate in your club for like 20 years, I think it shows that maybe, just maybe, we need to move academy players on when their stocks are high, and we'll deal with the repercussions later. Because I'm not going to lie, our highest sale in like how many years is McTominay at 40 mil. Before that, it was Daniel James at like 25, 30 million. So we as a club need to get better at selling. And Manchester City, the only reason why we heard talk of, well, are they upset that they let Rodgers go and Cole Palmer and Lavia, is because they was doing bad. Before that, when we didn't even know Morgan Rodgers used to play for Man City, when Lavia never even made an appearance for Man City, no one was chatting about them regretting it because they're doing good.
Yeah. And also, if you look at the amount of money that City, that Chelsea, Real Madrid raise each year through selling academy products, it's very, very important. And I'm still chasing up some of the financial experts that talk on Skye, talk on the BBC. But when it comes to Man United getting out of the financial problems that we're in, there are a few mistruths that are being sold here, which I didn't even know about. And when I say I didn't know about, I've done a lot of work with a lot of these financial experts. So when I reached out to a few of them about 3 months ago, I sort of said, why can't Sir Jim and co pay all the debts off and therefore make more profits for the club? Because over £100 million a year is spent on the debts and interest. And they all responded with a similar answer, which was, well, they can invest whatever they want. There's no rule against it because it's their own company. However, all the potential profits made through reducing outgoings through owner investment. So let's just say Sir Jim tomorrow does a bank transfer and pays off the 500-600 million pounds worth of debt that we owe to banks, and then pays off all the transfer debt we owe to other clubs, that 800 million pound, which costs us somewhere in the region of about 150 million pound a year. What they told me is that however long those payments are scheduled for now, because it comes from owner investment, every year the Premier League and UEFA will deduct those profits via FFP and PSR. So although your company may now be profitable because you've got no debt because the owners have paid it off, they minus that profitability from your PSR score. So the idea, and one of the reasons I wanted the Qataris is I was under the impression they would pay the debt off and they would have all this money. But according to the experts, who by the way won't say this on camera, which I find fucking strange. One of them has now blocked me because I keep DMing him. He's been on my shows. I'm like, but if Sir Jim can't pay it off and avoid PSR, I've asked him 3 times directly. So if the Qataris came in and paid the debts off, that would make no impact on our PSR. And they don't want to respond. And I find that weird. I find it strange. I don't know the answer, but the experts are not talking about it, which tells me, other than increasing the direct revenues of the club or reducing the outgoings, there's very little anyone can do to fix 11 years of financial malpractice at the football club. And that's why, again, I don't really want, in my heart of hearts, Garnacho to go and players like that. But we have to understand who put us in this position. People like myself and Neeks and KJ, Indiana, we would scorn people that would say, I don't care how much it costs to sign X. It's not my money. I don't care. For years, we said stupid attitude. Because if you burn the end of both candles, if you burn both ends of a candle, the wick runs out quicker. And we have ended up in this situation because of years of malpractice, negligence, and awful transfer decisions. You had Gary Lineker. Most pundits, most journalists say, why do United fans hate the Glazers? Look how much money they allow the club to spend. And I don't know how many times I lost my voice screaming at people. I'm not complaining about the volume of money we spend. It's the fact that we have marketing experts and bankers making football decisions and wasting it. The amount of match reactions I did, where we would sit here after bad games and go, yeah, this was bad, that was bad. But we've got to look at those owners. The viewers, the rivals, the guests, and a lot of United fans with manager out agendas. Don't talk about the owners. They don't pick the team. They didn't buy the players. And I sat there and to a point of exhaustion of saying, why are we ignoring the root cause problems? One day it's going to come home to roost. And now all I'm seeing is criticism about how we're being run. And I'm not happy with everything Ineos have done. I will not defend them taking money away from charities. I will not defend the percentage increase on tickets. What I will defend is I don't really mind the idea of Sir Alex is worth £80 million, losing a £2 million a year income. That don't bother me. There's a few legends this week that are having their income reduced. And again, I reached out to the journalist 4 times. He's now blocked me. I've said, you must have done your research on this. What's the net worth of those 3 players? What are they being paid and what are they now being paid? I said, I think Man United fans deserve to know the context of that. And he did DM me back once. It was, why does it matter? I said, well, of course it does. If they're all worth 5, 6, 7, 8+ million pound each, and we're earning £250,000 a year, and now they're earning £150,000 a year, no one's going to be upset for them. If they're broke and poor and can't afford to feed their families, we're on minimum wage, and now they're getting even less, we're all going to be in uproar about it. I said, but we need to be provided with that context. Blocked. Why would you block me for asking what I think to be an integral question to this situation? And that should speak volumes for Man United fans on these situations. We are going to speak, interesting here, so that Napoli are ready to pull out of the race for Garnacho. He's going Chelsea, man. The boy is going Chelsea. He's going Chelsea. Go on, mate. Go on.
No, continue on.
This here says, patience in the build-up with something we still lack. We always look to take shots from long range instead of playing into the box and taking that extra pass. Wing play and crossing needs a huge improvement.
And you know why that needs huge improvement, and the reason why it is the way it is because this is when I hear Man United fans complain about why do we play 5 at the back or 3 at the back? It's so defensive and archaic. We don't have any wingers. Amorim said it. He plays with wingers. It's the wing backs are his wingers. His wing backs want to go 1v1. They want to take on men, which most wing backs don't do, by the way. It's not normal for them. They normally invade space. Wing backs are normally in the space to running onto the ball to whip it in. But Amorim, he wants them taking the men on, keeping the width, and then the 10s being the ones in the pockets doing up the creativity. What we saw today, and again, it's not Garnacho's fault because he's not that kind of player. But Garnacho out wide most of the time. And then you've got Malacia or Delo trying to make an overlap where they're right next to each other holding hands. Or they're the ones in the half space in the 10. But they're more defenders. So, of course, they're not going to be able to be linking up play, making intricate things happen. Until we get the wing backs, I want to just call them wingers. Until we get the wingers that can play in those wide positions, we're going to struggle in those things.
Yep.
Like it just
you need specialists in those positions at wing back, and especially the dribbling kind, the ones that can take on like basically literal winger backs, not even just wing backs.
winger backs. Yeah.
No, you're all spot on in that, absolutely, and that's why that's positions that we're looking at. I was watching Nuno Mendes last night, and I know he actually got cooked for the opening goal for PSG, but every I saw Ashley Cole and Dennis Irwin get cooked before, but I was loving it. And one thing United really do need is a bit of P and a bit of pace, a little bit of P, a little power, a little P, a little pace, a little A, a little acceleration. in the
P, baby.
He loves it. I play football with KJ, and that's all he is power and pace, and then there's no finesse in his shot either.
Whoa.
It's laces.
You're still gonna talk about you like that, KJ? That's great.
No, listen, I got a little bit of finesse. I know when to try and
hang on. I say about finesse. Do you remember what you did to Tom? So we were playing like Wembley knockouts, and I got very lucky. So I was the first one through to the next round because KJ had a great shot, and I just stuck out a foot, and it deflected off my foot and went in. Right, so I got lucky. I came off, and then Dre, who was probably the best technically of all of us on the trip. Dre scored, then Dizzy scored, and it was KJ versus Tom. And Tom tried to stand up to KJ, and KJ just like doof, gave him a little barge. I've never seen a man fly so far in my life. It's like KJ, you know, like when a Jedi like pushes someone with the air and they fly through the air. It was like
Force.
Yeah. It's like he used the Force. It was brilliant. But KJ lost the footage on a train, so we haven't got any of it. So,
You lost
crazy. Long story. Granted, I got to the final at Wembley and only lost by 1 goal as well. So cool.
Yeah, wasn't as good as my volley. Again, my volley crossbar and in. That went missing. Oh,
we'll never do that again.
He lost my hard drive, man. Lost my hard drive. Can't win the Puskas and not be talented. Do you know what, Ronin? I agree with you. I don't think he isn't. I don't think he. I don't. No, you can. There's people that have won the Puskas that have been like low level players, but I do think Garnacho is talented. I just feel the one thing I would say about him is that you've got a lot of speed and power in your team. We don't. There was a couple of times again tonight where he gets in behind, and by the time he's in the box, defenders have caught up with him. And I'm not criticizing him per se for that because he can't help what he is. But Man United need to invest in some players where when we get half a yard, we want to turn that half a yard into 2 yards of space so we can shoot on goal. And you watched Barcola yesterday as an example. Great bit of skill, but no one can catch him. I think to be one of the best teams in the world, you need a handful of players, especially in your attack, that have that explosiveness. In the modern day game, they've got to. You think about how quick Mo Salah and Diaz and even Darwin Núñez, not great technically, they are. If you took the pace away from some of those players, there's no way Liverpool will be as good. Forget their technical ability. You take their pace away. You know, you think about KDB as a central midfield player, so not a forward. In his pomp, how he could drive through a team with that speed and that power. Man United need more of that. And the only way we can buy quality is to sell some of our better players now, but then hopefully bring in better. And I think United fans have got to wake up. This year, oh my God, Sharik. I haven't seen Sharik in a minute. I hope you're good, brother. He says, so having the Qataris wouldn't have been as beneficial, or have I got that wrong? So for me, this is my understanding of what I've been told by the financial experts. I am now chasing them. Voice notes. I'm getting to a point where I might get arrested for stalking, though, because I want clarity. I've tried searching the internet and there's nothing really on there. I'm at a point where what I'm probably going to do in the next day or two is draft an email and send it into the Premier League, send it into UEFA, and hopefully get a response, because I think it's important for Man United fans to know the truth. Because if they can pay the debt off and within a year it doesn't impact PSR, as an example, then I'll put pressure on Ineos to pay it off because they can afford it to drop in the ocean, right? So I'll call for it. But if they turn around and go, well, your current term on your debt is 15 years, and therefore if the owners pay it off for 15 years, it's minused, then it doesn't matter who our owners are. We're in this position. And I think that could change the view of a lot of Man United fans with the truth. And I feel when it comes to the Man United finances, I feel like only certain bits of information are being made public or being discussed, and I don't like it. So I'm not even saying if I'm wrong, because I don't know the answer. I'm only going by what these experts have told me, but it's a question that so far none of them have bothered to respond to me on. Where normally I'm very friendly with these guys. We chat and talk on a regular basis. Suddenly now they don't want to know, which I just find weird, Sharik. I find it very strange. And as you know, my bro, because you watched, I wanted the Qataris as my number one choice. So I'm not someone who sat here to jig over everybody. I wanted the Qataris. But it turns out that they're billions. And the reason why what the financial experts have said makes sense is otherwise Newcastle's owners could just pump up £500 million in and go, right, that £500 million is going to cover gas and electric bills. It's going to cover maintenance. It's going to cover everything other than transfers. But now the rest of our money is now free for transfers because we've covered it elsewhere. They can't do that. So the reason they can't do that, because it gets deducted from PSR. So if the people worth 500 billion are not pumping in 500 million pounds, why are we expecting Sir Jim to? I don't get it. There's something amiss here, and it's unfair. So I'm only asking questions. If it turns out they can, I will call them out. If they can't, people have got to shut their fucking mouths. It's as simple as that. Not you, Sharik, of course, but there we go.
Sharik. He even said it in it. Sharik.
Sharik. Sorry. My fault, Sharik. You've not been on the show for long enough, my bro. What a bloody beautiful, unreal first-class goal from my favorite Bruno. Right, chat. Yeah, it was. I know that Skye hates him, so she ain't happy. She hates Bruno.
You
hate Bruno.
Wait, you know what? Out of the two, I'm not gonna lie. Out of two, that Dezers one. Oh my!
It was good.
As a former Sunday League striker / winger, Mr. PMP himself, I would have loved that goal.
Harrison calls this out though, and he does say Harrison's goal disallowed for a push in the back by Yoro, but Rangers striker. That's where. I mean, that disallowed goal was crazy, Skye, right? It was crazy.
Yeah. Oh, it was absolutely crazy. At first, I thought they called it on Collier, and I was like, there's no way, because I didn't think he pushed the goalie that much. And then they said they called it on Euro, and I was like, but his hand, he was getting pulled before he even had the momentum to run into the other guy.
My main thing is when those fouls normally happen, you see guys look at the guy, then give the shot like a forceful shove, and then they go over, and then it's called. You watch the whole tape. He is just looking at the ball. Looking at the ball, and he doesn't even like run through him like a madman. He just notices him there. Okay, I'm gonna fight for the ball. I want to, try and get in. The man just falls over, and apparently that's a foul.
Yeah, and what I thought about it was this, right? I think we did steal Arsenal's set pieces, but I don't give a shit because every other club in the world now steals Fergie's rotation techniques to be able to compete in all competitions. So who cares, right? From my perspective, I was annoyed because it was the first time in, I feel like, years that we looked good from set pieces in the game. And this was crazy. We nearly scored direct from a corner. We made a goalie punch it into his own net, and we actually scored. Our corners are great tonight. I couldn't believe that was disallowed.
Yeah, no,
even against Brighton. Ever since we took Bruno off the right-hand side corners where it goes into an outswinger and put Ahmad on there and put Bruno, just leave him on the left ones, in-swingers. Oh,
I think in football at the moment, you've got to utilize the in-swinger because I think at the moment, crowding the goalkeeper has been allowed. And I will say this is not a dig at Arsenal or anyone who does it. I think at some point in the near future, I think the governing bodies are going to basically say if anyone stands in front of a goalkeeper within a certain remit, they're going to start making it. You just know the goalies are going to get protected soon. But at the moment, if you can whip a ball in to that 6-yard box and stand 3 people in front of a goalie, it gives you a really good chance of scoring because they can't move. And it annoyed me that everyone does it to us. And then I watch our corners and go, why aren't we doing the same thing? Why?
And you know what? Shout out to Arteta as well, my guy. Also, the balls are made to be hit like that. You know, the swerve on those balls, baby. You know what I'm saying?
Terry Garnacho clapped the fans. Yeah, they do most weeks, to be fair. Terry, remember, there was no proof of funds from Qatar. And listen, I understand that. And I don't really want to get into those debates because they become really tribalistic. I still have faith that Ineos are going to help turn us back into a really good team. And I haven't seen enough evidence that they won't. I know they're doing things that don't sit right with the working classes, which I'm part of, and I understand it. But maybe it's because I work so long in the banking world and in the corporate world where I just look at it and go, I understand what they're doing. Doesn't mean I agree with all of their decisions. But the thing with me is I'm not a hypocrite on this subject matter anyway. You may think I am on other things. That's up to you. But am I ever going to walk away from being a Man United fan? There's only one thing that can be really and truly that can be uncovered about my club that would make me walk away. And I'm not going to talk about it on this. It's to do with, protection of kids. Okay. If it turned out for years, there was unadulterated levels of children being harmed at the football club and it was covered up by all the hierarchy, all the top brasses, all the top managers, I'd stop supporting them because I could never, ever forgive that. Outside of it, am I going to, if Man United's owners make some redundancies, will I stop supporting the club? No. If Man United got taken over by Qataris, would I stop supporting the club? No. If the Super League existed, would I walk away from watching and supporting football? No. So therefore, I just don't spend too much time condemning it because I feel that makes you a really big hypocrite to condemn it. And then I'm still part of it though. It's all weird. Staffy! I was going to ask, are you okay for 3:30 tomorrow? Straight Facts UK time. Is that good?
5:30. Why? What's 5:30?
No, 3:30 UK time.
3:30. Aren't we live? Why you ask me this while we're live? Yeah.
Because you'll be asleep when I wake up in the morning and ask you. Do you know what I mean? Because of the time difference.
True. I do hate that. I hate when I wake up and I see you ask 3:30. And it was 5 a.m. my time. And I was like, what does he think I'm going to respond? Of course I'm not going to respond.
That's why now I saw you and I remembered. So I was
like, are we live or what?
Tomorrow's a mad day. 11 a.m. tomorrow straight is Top 6 show. 3:30 is Straight Facts. And then 7 o'clock is the final live stream of the poker show we're doing. Because then next week, it's the live in-person poker show. So big day tomorrow on the terrace. So make sure you're tuning in from 11 a.m. But Staffy, what you here to say, brother?
No, listen, I wanted to join earlier, but KJ knows I can't join. On Thursdays, I do this BR stream right after it. So I was like, you know what? Let me see if these guys are still live.
Catch up with them.
No, love, bro, love. So I finished it. I was like, oh, they're live. Let me just join real quick. So I don't know what you guys spoken about, but I'm gonna speak, and I don't know what you guys think anyways about the game. But I thought we deserved to win. I thought we were unfortunate to win 2-1. I think we should have won by more. We deserve to win by more. I was really angry at some point when they equalized, because I'm looking at it, I'm like, I don't feel like today we deserve to drop points, and I don't think Rangers did enough to pick up a point. And I just, for a minute, obviously, I don't want us to drop points because I knew what was going to happen right away, the negativity that we were going to get, and the attack on Amarim again. And I'm like, honestly, we were just one Maguire mistake away from not hearing about how we should have played a 4 in the back today. That's what I thought about. Because you know that was going to happen. Like, everyone's going to ignore everything that happened in the game. And you're basically one individual. This is what happens when you do that every game. You're one individual brilliant moment or bad moment away from the manager and the formation getting judged. Even though it's not correlated. As stupid as that statement sounds, but it is the truth. Maguire making a mistake or not is why the formation was going to get judged. Us taking our chances or not, or basically Jack Butland not being Gianluigi Buffon today, if he doesn't do that, the formation doesn't get judged. I'll be honest. So today I'm watching the game and I'm listening. I was a little bit frustrated because I felt like we should have won by more goals. And the funniest thing is I'm on my watch along and I'm telling my chat, I was like, yo, chat, what would have happened if we scored more goals today? And I'm scrolling. And as I say that, we can see the goal. And I didn't even see it because I'm looking at the table. And I was just so annoyed. I was like, wait, how are we not winning this when we should be winning by 3 or 4 goals? So it was a bit frustrating. But listen, I thought the team did well. There was a few mistakes, especially in the first half. I felt like we gave them especially that chance that I forgot his name. That guy stumbled over the ball when he was going one-on-one with Bandit. That was a bit of an individual mistake from Collier. I think he struggled a little bit today. But I felt like enough players had a good game today. I think Garnacho actually had a good game. I think today he was unfortunate not to have a brace. Like, I was looking at this game and I'm like, Rangers are the reason we can't go to Chelsea right now and be like, yo, give us 20 million more. Because if he scores a brace today, I know that United board is sitting in London and they're like, yo, did you watch the highlights? 20 million more at least. It could have been doable today. You know, I think Ahmad did well. I think Bruno had a very good game as well. One of the few games where I look at Bruno and I'm like, you didn't give me a heart attack. So that's always a positive.
Can I ask you very quickly on that?
Yeah.
Bruno in the middle tonight reminded me of when we played Liverpool. I thought he was calm most of the time. He will always take risks. So he's always going to have a pass completion of about 80%. But I felt he took calculated risks the majority of the time tonight.
When Bruno has a game, this is what I always think about Bruno. When Bruno has a game where you don't notice him too much, but yet he had enough good attacking returns, that's a good game. Because what a Bruno typical game is, Bruno is very wasteful. He'll create a chance, he'll get an assist, maybe a goal, and we'll say that was a good game. But I'm like, no, it really wasn't. Because in between him getting that return, I had to cuss him out about 5-6 times. Today, I didn't cuss out Bruno once. I thought the game was very calm. I thought we should have scored more of anything. And I thought he created that brilliant chance to Ahmad where goalkeeper closed him down, so he could have had an early assist. And the thing I like the most, we went down 1-0. We were up 1-0. They drew, so they made it 1-1. And I'll be honest, I had a feeling I was going to see a response. And I was happy that I saw the response was instant and that the goal came from Bruno. Because listen, people always say this thing where it's like, you just hate certain players. You have agendas. I generally don't hate anyone. I'll hate you as a player if you give me a reason to hate you. Bruno today, I was happy to see that goal coming from him. Because just when you look at captains, these are the things that you captain a team for. Whether we played good or bad today, when it was 1-1, I don't care. At this point, I just want to see a response and I want to see a goal. And I was happy that the goal came from him because you want your captain to be the one to react. I felt like Bruno, when he scored that goal, you can tell it was like, I'm just getting it out of me because it's like, we shouldn't be 1-1 with you guys. We were better than you guys.
Well, it's nice to see two experienced players in that because there was a great ball from Lissandro as well.
It was a great cross from Lissandro. And you know what hurt me when I saw that cross? I swear, I said this. No, I'll tell you this. I swear. I'm not going to lie. I got to give myself a pound back. My watch-alongs are actually hilarious. I looked at that assist from Lissandro, and I said, Lissandro, I wish you were about 2, 3, maybe 4 inches taller. Because I'd never be saying the things that I say about you if you was just, I mean, it's not his fault he was born that height. But one of my issues with him is his physicality. I just know he's brilliant on the ball. You've never caught me on the terrace telling you he's shit on the ball. My issue was the other side. But that cross from him, I'm not gonna lie, it was amazing. And to be fair, he had another cross early in the game. I forgot to who. Probably made it to Xerxes or someone. Where I was
he had that shot. I thought
he had a
shot.
I was
like, raw.
Not about that shot.
I like that. I like to see that from him. You know why? Because he knew these are the games that you should expect Manchester United to play more often moving forward when we get more reinforcement. Because, of course, the other team is going to have a couple chances on you. But you want a game where you completely dominate it from all aspects as much as you can. Sometimes you're going to struggle to create chances, do phases in the game. When Lissandro went up in that chance, I remember the ball kept getting passed back and forth between like 3 players. I was like, all right, nothing is happening here. Lissandro looks at that. He's like, yo, I can afford to go up because we have this team pinned back. He just goes in between the lines, picks up the ball, shoots it. And I'm like, I'm not mad that you didn't score it. And I'm not mad that you were there because you did what you're supposed to do in a big team. That's how big teams play. When you dominate, you can afford to have a DM go up a little bit. You can afford one of the center backs leaves his position. He's like, yo, I'm going to go up this attack and I'll be back. And that's what big teams do. So I was happy by the majority of what I saw today. And I'm more happy that we picked up the 3 points. Because now we're pretty much going to finish.
I love that you've joined Staffy because these 2 negative Nellies here were just
I told you, I don't even know what they said.
They ruined my vibe. They ruined my vibe. I look at it this way. Now, I agree with you. Listen, in fairness to them, they pulled out some issues that we still have. But I was a bit like you. When that equalizer went in, my frustration was more so many good things will now be ignored.
Undone,
because that goal's gone in. And for me, that was the frustration. It was we deserved. Me and you are pretty similar in this, Staffy. That I'm looking at when it comes to results, great. Yes, that was a good result. That was a bad result. but I'm looking for the performances. And I felt like tonight was one of our better ones. But what we need, because of the pressure and the amount of defeats, is we need some victories to go with those
Brighton.
performances. And we got that.
Southampton.
Yeah, no, I agree. But it's even like when I think about the Nottingham Forest game, I still go back to that. And tonight could have been similar. Collier gave the ball away early. They could have scored. Then I think it was Delo gave the ball away, and there was a ball crossed to the back post, and it wasn't a very good hit. And then I think Bruno gave the ball away on about the 30th minute. It was the only real time he did it in a dangerous place, up on the sort of top of the screen as we look at it on TV on the left-hand side, and they had another counter. And I'm looking at it and I'm going, please, guys, don't play well and then do what you did against Nottingham Forest, where we're playing the better team, but then mistakes lead to goals and we crumble and fall apart, because I think that doesn't help our confidence as a team. And I just think the way we performed and the fact that we went and won the game, what I'm hoping for is that we just got to start building that confidence, because we know 80% of this squad is gone in 3 to 4 years' time. But we just need that confidence to start coming in. So I agree with you, Staffy. I feel like the win on the back of that performance was just so important for us tonight. So important indeed.
Yeah, because the most important thing for me was to avoid playoffs. I don't want to play 2 extra games. And Emery keeps saying that, and I'm happy that he keeps reminding people of that. These players need more time on the training pitch, because most of them are not that good. You need more time on the training pitch. That's what's Rhino doing here.
Oh my God!
What's going on?
Better late than never.
Rhino?
Better late than never. Staffy,
What?
you influenced me. I said better late than never.
See, you know what, Rhino? I'm happy you said that, because the reason I'm on YouTube is just because I want to influence people. So I'm glad to know that I touched someone. Oh, hey, yo, not like that, but I inspired someone today. There you go. That's a better word.
Good to see you, Rhino, bro.
Terry, long time, man. Big up.
I know, bro. I hope you're good, my man. I hope you're good. What did you make of tonight? I'm assuming you're in a pretty good mood. That's why you're on. That's what I'm assuming here.
Nah, do you know what it is, man? Sometimes I've got so much going on that it's like by the time I get to the reaction, I've done my little quick reaction. I'm just like,
Guys,
you
listen,
know what I mean?
Rhino's
But
a famous producer now, so you can't catch it.
Yeah, he's too
Manager,
busy. He's too
manager,
busy for the
producer, whatever,
small people, man. You know what I'm saying? Out there.
This guy's big. fan
nah.
now.
Do you know what it is? I think I was watching this back because I definitely watch all the reactions, even if I'm not obviously in part of it. I watch it a lot. But I like a lot of what Staffy and what Terry was saying in terms of how quickly the narrative can change. You know, the moment we lose or someone makes one mistake, all of a sudden, 3-4-3 is the problem. Oh my gosh, he's lost the players and all of that stuff. So I think that's very important. But what I wanted to add to that is, I think for me, the key like positive for this win is the fact of all the news you heard before. You know, the arguments in the dressing room. You heard about the TV getting smashed and Ruben's probably lost the players. And then now you see that the players are actually turning up for him. So I think that for me is very positive, because it just shows that he hasn't lost the dressing room and there's still a positive look in the right direction. Do you know what I'm saying? These players look like they're still playing for him. There was a lot of chances we created. We could have scored a lot more goals in this game. And that for me is the biggest positive. Obviously, at the end of the day, we always want our club to win, no matter how bad or good we play. But for me, I think that's what I'm most happy about still. Yeah.
We can't afford, listen, Rhino, we can't afford another broken TV anyways, because if it does, that cuts out of the Patrick Dorgo deal would have fell through if we broke another TV today.
It's so true.
And do you know what else worries me as well? Sorry to cut you off, yeah.
Fine,
I think because people are quick to write Ruben off, and I understand that you're going to have your criticisms about Ineos. You're going to doubt whether Ruben's system actually works for the team. But I just feel like in this current sensitive time, we need to be ready for the suffering. We need to be ready for the change at this club. I know we're big United and all the history that we've created, but I don't think when Ruben said, "Are you guys ready for the storm?" I think people thought it's going to be a couple losses. We need to go really down under before we actually get to the top.
True.
That's what I think. Still,
That's true.
Yeah.
I'm gonna record it, so I'm gonna let the cat out of the bag to the couple of thousand people watching. But my analogy of Man United fans is this. I think the reason is for years, and I can't help but sound arrogant when I say this, is people like me haven't been listened to. The idea that it was ever Pogba or Martial or Rashford or Bruno or Rooney or Fellaini's fault was stupid. The idea that it was ever any one single manager's fault that we were failing was stupid. There are such deep-rooted problems. But for a lot of Man United fans, what I see It's like we've gone out. We've gone to the local. You'll know this. You're an Englishman like me. Gone to home base, and you've gone, right, I bought a big plant pot. I bought the soil, and I bought some seeds to grow a nice, beautiful lemon tree to put in my back garden. And what Man United fans are doing, they've gone home, they've planted the seed, they've watered it, and every day they're coming out and shouting at the soil, why I don't know fucking lemons yet. And they're ringing up home base. I don't know what's your version of home base in America where you'd go and buy plants, like a garden center? What's a famous garden center in America?
Oh, I don't know.
Or Lowe's?
Lowe's.
I was gonna say Target, but I could be well off.
No,
Target sells the plastic ones.
Yeah. So it's like we're ringing them up saying, listen, I bought these seeds for this lemon plant, this lemon tree 4 days ago, and there's no fucking lemons. And the lady
They're expecting some tree. They're expecting a big tree outside of us.
Excuse me, sir, but it takes like 4 years for the tree to grow.
Yeah.
Fuck you, I got standards.
Yeah.
I've got high standards.
Yeah.
Fuck your seeds.
Yeah.
That's how I view this. It's like Man United fans have never really acknowledged, accepted, digested, and grasped the depth of our problems. It's always been fairly superficial, fairly surface level. Sack manager A, hire manager B, we play good football. And I know you'll like this, Skye, because I know you work for, I won't tell anybody, but there we go. It's Man United fans have been very much orange man bad for a long time. Orange man bad, change it and the world will become good again, right?
Yeah.
I'm talking about Donald Trump there. Man United fans have followed that same mantra. Sack Jose will be good. Sack Ole Gunnar Solskjaer will be good. Sack Ten Hag will be good. Orange man bad. And I'm not saying he's bad or good. I'm just stating that the world being good or the world being bad doesn't ever come down to one thing. There's always multiple issues. And United fans have just, for me, by and large, have ignored that for the better part of 11 years. And that's why I'm with you, Rhino, and I'm with you, Staffy. I look at it and I'm like, the idea that playing 5-3 at the back is the reason why we've struggled in these opening games is crazy. And the worst part, I don't know about you boys, but the amount of man out there that for years, and I know you've seen this, Rhino, you've been on the social, same as you, Staffy, who have called for a set style of play, don't navigate from it. They've been begging, don't buy the obvious signings, buy the obscure names I've not heard of. We're now doing that, and they're ignoring it. Do you know the funniest motherfuckers? The funniest motherfuckers, right, are the ones who hate Rashford and Garnacho, but they also hate Ineos. The first sort of players that these guys are getting rid of are the guys they hate, and they're stuck between a rock and a hard. They're like, hang on, I keep saying Ineos is shit, but Ineos have identified selling the players that I don't like. I don't even know what to do. And it's because everything is ideology based. And people that just said sacking a manager will make us better instantly don't want to admit it. People that sort of maybe, I just find it that no one is willing to be a little bit objective, a little bit patient, and sit back and wait. And that for me is my biggest frustration. I get rival doing it, but our own fans, it's a bit weird to me personally.
No, it's you know what? It's tough. Sometimes I get questioned with things that I never said. They're like, oh, but look at us, Staffy. Didn't you say when we sacked Ten Hag, we're going to be good again? I was like, I never said we're going to be good again. I said, I think we're going to be better with whoever the next manager is, because I just thought that Ten Hag was so bad to the point that any small improvement is an improvement. And I still generally think we're better, even though the results don't show it. But I think the manner of results have been a lot different. We used to get beaten off the park in certain games. Whereas today, you know, I was disappointed. If we don't pick up the points today, I'm looking at it and I'm like, the manager's going to get unnecessary pressure because of another individual error. And there's a few games that I can name that we lost when Emram said we only won 2 in 10. So we technically lost 7, okay? Those 7 losses, I swear I can name about 4 of them that he coached a winning game and we didn't. And that's the frustrating part. I know some people, unfortunately, and this is the one thing that I hate about football YouTube, is people who view football as black and white. I hate anyone who thinks football is black and white. You won, so you're good. You lost, so you're shit. That is the dumbest thing on football. Results-based analysis are the dumbest thing. Where you stand in the table sometimes is the dumbest thing. And these are things that I have to fight every day when the manager is being spoken about. Because today, as an example, when Maguire made that mistake, everyone would have talked about the manager. No one would have said, oh, it was on an individual mistake why today we let go of an easy win. But listen, we're sitting 4th. Don't forget, we started this season with 3 draws. I personally thought we were going to be in the playoffs. That's if we're lucky. So to be sitting 4th, obviously took a few results from other teams for us to get there. But that's very good because now we get to avoid those 2 games, as I said, of the
Yeah,
playoffs.
games, yeah.
Well, I didn't realize this until they announced it. He's only the 3rd manager in the history of our club to win his first 3
in a row.
European games. And listen, some people, it's just the Europa League. Well, I don't care. I mean, Fergie's first European games weren't the Champions League. So, from my point of view, and we know, and I got called out a lot tonight by people when I was tweeting, going, "Your standards are so low, Terry. Happy with that performance."
Standard nonsense.
And these standard mugs, they can just do one because they're just it's become a gimmick. It's become a gimmick because everybody. I speak to I've got friends that support Leyton Orient. I've got friends that support Rochdale, and I always say to them, "Could you guys demand more from your club?" And they just laugh. They're like, "My club, like one bad week, like if a game gets cancelled, they could go out of business." When people tell me I've got to have higher standards, it like I said, it's like the lemon tree thing. You can scream and shout at the soil all you want. Some things just take time. And you cannot change it overnight.
And then on top of that, you've got the standards, you've got the results-based analysis, and then one linear progression.
Oh
my
linear. Everyone expects this straight up and only up.
Yeah.
Little do they know, like in life with everything, it could go high.
Do you know what's really funny?
Go to any graph, go to stocks, and just go to Bitcoin. Go to Bitcoin. And you see
hang on. Let's forget stocks. This is coming from YouTubers. The vast majority, okay, and I would probably say, barring Mark Goldbridge and barring maybe AFTV, the vast majority of YouTubers do this. Growth for loads of numbers and views, and then I have a dip when results don't go the way I need, and then and these same YouTubers that go standards, and you've got to be continually growing. We all go through peaks, and because what happens is when you're a YouTuber is you cultivate an audience that reflects your views or reflects your beliefs, but then at the same time, when they're engaged, depends on the results of their teams, or are they happy with
the balance of emotions as well.
It's the balance of emotions, and there are some people. When Arsenal win, we'll do better. When Arsenal lose, I'll do better. When Man United win, lose, etc. There's a handful, and I always look at AFTV and Goldbridge. They're like an anomaly. It's good no matter what because of their size, right? But you'll find that's because they've cultivated maybe 800,000 followers that are negative and 1.2 million that are positive, and it's just a huge number, so we don't see it. And this is what happens. And the same people that say that you've got to have linear growth are the same people whose channels will, okay, well, you got 100,000 views when we won the other day, but we lost yesterday, and you only got 25,000. How's that linear growth? It's just nonsense. If you've got a brain, if you're a little bit more grown up, if you're educated, if you had a real job, nobody thinks like that in real life. I want to go to some of these comments here before we end. This one says, what do you guys think about the letter that United sent to the 1980 I've had too much to drink, and the fan correlation, talk about ticket prices. What do you guys make? I haven't read the letter yet. I've seen it. I haven't read
all of it. I saw little bits of it. It's typical political PR response that they're trained to give. This whole we're always engaged with fans to see how we can raise revenue and all. It's just.
Oh, is that the one where they're talking about the fact that we're in minus and we haven't made a lot of profit?
Oh, yeah,
I briefly saw that. I haven't read
300 million in revenue.
I just saw that paragraph. I didn't see the rest of it.
So the reason is it's not ideal to raise the prices, but this is why
we're going to have to. And it's one of those ones where, like, people...
I'll be honest with you, bro. If you worked in any business aspect, in any part of your life, you would understand why the prices... I'm not saying it was right or wrong. I don't like that I have to go pay extra for my milk right now or for my gas,
right?
But I understand why. Like, I generally understand why.
Yeah, there's definitely an element of that. It's everything has gone up. Jerome here says, glad my prediction was right. I knew they could only be a United win in this game. Thank you, Jerome, who's a Spurs fan. Terry and Staffy both surprised me today. For their standards, this is positive, so that's good to see. KJ is a mood vibe killer.
That could be crazy, though.
I gotta rewatch what happened, KJ. What the hell did I
watch? All he said was we need to finish better. I'm trying
to Twins, don't do me like that. Oh, listen, I've been known as Mr. Vibes, pastor of the Church of Vibes, captain the whole time on my terrace.
Bruv.
Now I'm mood vibe killer.
Bruv, you had the vibe of a funeral this evening, bro. That's what I'm saying.
So you're telling me I live to the day that I'm the toxic positive. And
yeah.
You're the
toxic
negative.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy, bro.
I love this super chat. It says we are fourth. I can look at a league table and not cry. That's true. We are fourth in one
Hey.
league. Like we are fourth in
Top
one
four.
league.
You know what? That's true. Every time someone says we're 13th, I'll be like, no, we're fourth. And I'm gonna send
You're
the
fourth.
the-
Yeah, I'm only going by the European League. There we go. Look, I want to thank everyone who's tuned in tonight. I want to thank everyone who's hit the like button and subscribed. Midnight vibes to midnight cries. I like that. I like that. Sharik. Is that right? Yeah. Yeah. There we go. Listen, boys, and of course, Skye, thank you very much for coming on the show tonight. I really appreciate it. We're back tomorrow, 11 a.m. UK time, the top 6 show, where we'll be discussing games, transfers, previewing the week. We're going to spread it out over 3 shows tomorrow, though. It's going to be a crazy day. Until next time, people, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And well done to Man United. Peace.